For the last time, they're not related to tomatoes. The tomatillo, besides sounding somewhat like tomato in words, really has nothing to do with it whatsoever. In fact, the tomatillo is closer related to a gooseberry, hence the husk. And if you're growing or buying tomatoes and they have a husk on the outside of them, something has gone terribly, terribly wrong in your tomato world. The one thing they do share in common though, and a quick gardening tip here, if you can grow tomatoes, you can grow tomatillos because they like similar climates. Hot summers, and they are prolific in the garden. I've grown them 2 years in a row, and I've gotten a great yield both times. Now in the kitchen, what can we do with them? Well, we can do something like we're about ready to do now, which is make a great sauce from them. One thing you have to keep in mind with the tomatillo is it's largely made out of water, so you gotta be a little bit careful with that, and if we cook them too much, they sort of get stewed and that water is extruded from them, and then we have a very wet sauce, and we want one with a little bit of body. So what we're gonna do is take the husk off, then get them in a dry pan on medium heat till we get some nice charred color on the outside, then we'll start working on some other flavors. Now once our tomatillos hit the pan, all we're trying to do here is just char them a little bit on the outside. Just keep your eye on them. They will start to make noise if they get too far along and start to explode all over the place. That'd be too much. We just want them to get a little bit blackened, a little charred on the outside, then flip them and let that happen on both sides, and then take them out of the pan. And then right behind them in the pan, we're gonna add some oil. Now we're gonna saute some limes. That's right, whole pieces of lime, and you'll see where we're going with this in a minute. And then we're gonna pull the lime out and put in some garlic and onion. When that lime hits that hot oil, the flavor and aroma that it puts out is just unbelievable. And then we layer it on top of that some garlic and onion. Now when the onion gets tender, we're gonna add in 3 more ingredients. For those that like it hot, and I do, I'm gonna add in some dried chilies. I'm using a japonese chili, but you can use fresh or any smaller size chili. Just put it in the pan until it becomes a little bit tender. Then right behind that, I'm gonna put in cumin powder and also some dry bay leaf powder. And all of that is gonna meet our tomatillos over in the food processor. So once we give it a nice puree over in food processorville, we throw it into a bowl, a little bit of cilantro chop, in goes the cilantro, taste for salt, add salt if needed. Then what do you do with it? Well, if we put it back in a pan and heat it through again, then we would call it a sauce. We put it in the refrigerator, then pull it out, then we'd call it a salsa. No matter what you want to call it, it is incredibly good. The complexity of flavor in these type dishes to me is remarkable. You get a little bit of sour, you get a little bit of sweet, you get very bright overtones, and those dry chilies just give us a nice bit of spice on the back end. So clearly there's a lot of ways we can go with this, but you'll have to keep checking back to the Garden Years YouTube channel and my blog to find out exactly what our green tomatillo sauce becomes.